Given the extensive misinformation campaign that is being performed by certain parties, I think it's important for us to have easy access to all primary resources that are available in this case. Now, I guess you probably might say that news reports are maybe secondary reports, but they're contemporary reports. They are the news reports basically from as things were happening, meaning they've not been influenced by Martell or all the other blow-ins that have come into this case. And of course, these news channels have a responsibility for ethical reporting. So being able to access these news reports, I think, is important because we can find out what information has been given when. And also, it is very convenient when you have people from like Daniel's camp saying, no, there was only one drone that went up the whole time, only one drone. Whereas if you go back and you listen to the dispatch audio, if you go and listen through these media interviews or media clips, you can see that there were at least 4. But if you listen to the dispatch, I would say upwards of 6 drones were used during that first week of the search. Now, just to offer a bit of clarification, if while you are watching through these clips you look at a date and you think, no, that date doesn't seem right, there's a possibility that it is wrong. First of all, this is not the original version of this video. Having spent several weeks working on the original version of this, which included a timeline on the side with, things like, 10 o'clock or 10:01 report was 911 call was made, etc. Having done that, having spent countless hours working on that, somehow in the process of deleting all the excess screenshots, all the excess videos, I also deleted the video. So it was back to the drawing board. I had to go back and collect all my clips all over again, which also meant collecting all my screenshots for my clips to make sure that I was giving the right titles for those clips, etc. So it's possible that I may have got myself a little bit confused along the way putting these together. It's been quite a lengthy process. After deleting the original video, I put in a very, very late night, the night before last, and probably 14 hours yesterday at least, working on this, and all of today so far. So there's been lots and lots and lots of hours put into putting this newer version together. That, of course, coupled with the fact that depending on which news station you're looking at, the dates for the clips are either the dates that they appeared here in Australia or the dates that they were released in Canada. Meaning there was also that little bit of additional mental arithmetic in terms of, okay, this says it was the 7th of May, but was it actually the 6th? So I've done my absolute best to get the dates right. I've done my absolute best to make sure there's no errors throughout, but I can't guarantee it because of the sheer volume of work that went into putting this together. Now, this is here as a resource for any content creator who wishes to use it. However, I would like to request that you do give me credit for the time put into this if you are using clips directly from this video, as opposed to sourcing them yourself. Like I said, many, many hours went into this. This has been pretty much a 3-day process from when I had to restart this. So it's been lots of hours. That said, if you choose not to give me credit, my watermark's on it anyway, so at least I can take credit for it myself. If you are after a non-watermarked version, most of the titles for the clips are correct. Some of them I may have got mixed up. I apologise for that. So you can also search up the clips by date and title and news station if you wanted to have your own version. This is just the beginning of the series, obviously. This is actually the only introduction I'll be doing. All the other ones will be just launching straight into the news clips. So, with that said, let's just get on with it.
Boy and girl are missing in a wooded area in Pictou County. A search is underway right now for the two, last seen this morning. Let's bring in CTV's Jonathan McGuinness, who is in the search area. John, what can you tell us?
And Todd, that search is taking place on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, which is just southwest of New Glasgow. Dozens of people are involved with that search. 4-year-old Jack Sullivan and 6-year-old Lily Sullivan were reported missing around 10 this morning. Lily might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots, and Jack is believed to be in his blue dinosaur boots. It's believed they left a home on the Gairloch Road. A search began shortly after. Multiple agencies are trying to find the two children. That includes 2 helicopters. Ground search and rescue are also combing the area on foot, and police dogs are on the scene. RCMP issued a vulnerable missing persons alert, but they say there is no evidence of an abduction, so there has been no Amber Alert issued. Now, Todd, this is a rural, densely wooded area, and so far search conditions have been good. There was a brief shower early this afternoon. There is a sense of urgency here, Todd, given the length of time they've been missing and their age. And the family is being kept up to date on the search efforts. The police are asking the public to avoid the area to allow the trained searchers to do their jobs. Todd.
All right, John McGuinness at the search area in Pictou County. Now, just moments ago, we heard from Corporal Carly McCann of the RCMP.
There's a variety of resources, teams, and tools being applied right now in the search for these missing children. A variety of GSAR teams from across Nova Scotia, that's ground search and rescue teams, are putting together plans to ensure that coverage can be continuous. CASERA, which is the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, as well as the Department of Natural Resources and Renewables, have planes in the air and helicopters and resources. There's also a variety of RCMP resources, including Nova Scotia RCMP police dog services, drone operators.
Nova Scotia RCMP Public Information Officer, Corporal Carly McMahon. Corporal, thanks so much for joining us on CTV News Channel. What can you tell us about the latest update on the missing children?
Thank you very much. Yes, I can share that there's a variety of resources, teams, and tools being applied right now in the search for these missing children. A variety of GSAR teams from across Nova Scotia, that's ground search and rescue teams, are putting together plans to ensure that coverage can be continuous. CASERA, which is the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, as well as the Department of Natural Resources and Renewables, have planes in the air and helicopters and resources. There's also a variety of RCMP resources, including Nova Scotia RCMP police dog services, drone operators, and other teams who are in the area. A variety of tactics and tools are being used in order to make all attempts to locate these children.
At this time, is foul play suspected? And I'm curious why no Amber Alert has been issued at this time.
One of the requirements for an Amber Alert is that there is a belief that the child or children have been abducted. There is no reason to believe right now that an abduction has taken place. It is believed that the children wandered away from their home. So we did issue a vulnerable missing person alert to Pictou County. So that means that the information was shared widely within that area, as well as on our social media channels. However, the no Amber Alert was issued because criminality at this time, in terms of an abduction, is not believed to be a factor.
And at this time, how long do you expect the significant search operation to continue?
It's difficult to give a specific timeline. It will depend on what the outcomes are of the searches and what information becomes available in order to narrow things down or to widen the search as needed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Corporal Carly McMahon, Public Information Officer with the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thanks so much for providing an update for our viewers across the country. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A desperate search is underway tonight in Nova Scotia. Two siblings aged just 4 and 6 are believed to have wandered away from their home on Friday morning and haven't been seen since. Police dogs and helicopters have joined volunteers on the ground in Pictou County, that's northeast of Halifax. Global's Mitchell Bailey is there for us tonight.
More than 120 people are currently searching the woods behind me here near Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, continuing the search for 2 children who went missing in the area on Friday morning.
Police say multiple search and rescue teams, drones, police dogs, and 2 DNR helicopters are searching the area in Pictou County. The missing children are 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, who were last seen on Gairloch Road around 10 a.m. on Friday. Police say the terrain and sheer size of the wooded area has created some challenges for those on the ground.
I have no information currently on any particular leads. Obviously, it's a huge wooded area with lots of potential. So we're just keeping all avenues open and ensuring we're covering off the entire area with a very structured search.
RCMP say there was no evidence of an abduction, so an Amber Alert was not sent out. Police say the children were believed to have wandered away. A vulnerable missing person alert was distributed across Pictou County following their disappearance. Police say the search will continue until officers and crews are instructed otherwise.
We are going to keep searching. That's our job right now, and we're going to, no one's stopping. We have lots of officers here on the scene that are parents themselves, and we can certainly feel for this family, and our priority is to bring these kids home safe.
6-year-old Lily Sullivan is described as having light brown hair and might be wearing a pink sweater, pants, and boots. Jack Sullivan has short blonde hair and was wearing blue dinosaur boots at the time of his disappearance. About 160 people in total are helping with the search, most of them being search and rescue volunteers from the surrounding area.
Police are asking anyone with knowledge of the children's whereabouts to contact the Pictou County RCMP. People are being asked to stay out of the area to allow for the search to proceed. Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. It's now day 3 in the search for Lily and Jack Sullivan, who were first reported missing on Friday morning. Search crews continued looking throughout the woods in the Pictou County community of Lansdowne Station overnight, with no intentions of slowing down on Sunday.
About 160 search and rescue volunteers are on site, pushing ahead through rainy and foggy conditions. They're looking for 2 siblings, aged 4 and 6, who were said to have wandered off from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station Friday morning. They were first reported as missing to the police around 10 a.m. Police say there's no evidence to suggest the kids were abducted, adding that personnel will continue to expand the search area.
There was at one point a possible footprint identified, and based on that, the searchers have now started doing grid searches around that area just to expand to see if there's anything from that. So,
the 2 DNR helicopters and 4 drones that are active in the area have technology that can identify body heat. While the helicopter's radar can't see through trees, the drones have more flexibility in scanning hard-to-read areas. The Provincial Emergency Alert System was activated Saturday afternoon, notifying the surrounding area of the missing children. A vulnerable missing person alert was sent out on Friday. An Amber Alert was not activated as police say the children were not believed to have been abducted.
we're still continuing with the missing person investigation. We still believe that they left their house and wandered off, and we're trying to bring them home.
RCMP say Halifax Fire has provided several heavy urban search and rescue dogs to assist with the mission. Lily Sullivan is described as having shoulder-length light brown hair and could be wearing a pink sweater, pants, and boots. Jack Sullivan has short blonde hair and was wearing blue dinosaur boots at the time of his disappearance. As of now, police say there's no plans to end the search, as crews are set to continue working into a 3rd consecutive night, operating around the clock in hopes of bringing Lily and Jack back home. Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
With dawn already underway, ground search and rescue teams in rural Nova Scotia will try again to find 2 missing children believed to have wandered off from their home in the community of Lansdowne Station. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday morning. RCMP Corporal Carly McCann says there is no evidence the children were abducted. She adds that a multi-agency search has been taking place since they disappeared, with the added help of a helicopter from the Provincial Department of Natural Resources.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
The search continues for two missing children this morning. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan are believed to have wandered away Friday morning, sparking a search of more than 100 people in the Pictou County area. Linda's looking into this story for us this morning, and just looking at the images and how long they have been missing. What's the latest here?
Yeah, so I just got off the phone with RCMP and no word yet on any sign of the two missing children. At this point now, 2 days and 2 nights in the woods. A little girl dressed head to toe in pink, a little boy in his blue dinosaur boots. Here's an image of 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They've been missing since around 10 a.m. Friday. This is an area in Pictou County, about 20 kilometers southwest of New Glasgow, where this search is centered. We can show you a map here. The RCMP say it appears the children wandered away from a home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station. Now, there's no evidence that the children were abducted, so no Amber Alert has been issued. Police sent out a vulnerable missing persons alert yesterday afternoon. But there's a massive search effort underway right now. About 100 searchers searching this area. We're talking search and rescue teams who have come in from all across the province. The Department of Natural Resources is involved in this, and a new volunteer corps called the Nova Scotia Guard have been brought in as well to assist in the search for these two children. 2 helicopters and a drone are being utilized in this area. Tracking dogs, we are told, are back out again today, searching for any scent that the children may have left behind.
And police are asking people who may want to assist in this search effort to stay out of this immediate area, allow these teams to do what they can to find the children, but to check their own yards, their own personal properties for any sign of the kids. What are the conditions these children may be dealing with, and also the searchers? Yeah, so from what we understand, this is a pretty heavily wooded area. So we looked it up. We actually went onto the Google Maps and looked at the street view just to give you an idea of the kind of terrain that we're dealing with here. And these are long stretches of road that have the odd driveway dotted along the road, but realistically, we're talking about just sort of wooded area. The road basically all woodland. The odd home here or there. This is difficult terrain from what we understand, just for the adult searchers, let alone the kids. Here's what the RCMP are telling us.
As you can imagine, having a 4 and 6-year-old, yes, there would definitely be some challenges. Obviously they probably haven't been out in the wooded area alone before, so there are going to be lots of challenges for those kids. I can't speak personally, I've never personally met the children, but I would say that obviously any children would have challenges, especially this terrain. And obviously they may be scared of adults or not understanding, hearing all the noises of the machinery above, the helicopters. They could have an issue with that and could be, in a position or maybe scared to come out.
And here are those images that we have taken off of Google Maps of just that sort of stretch of road, just to give you an idea of how densely brushed in this area is. So this is a very difficult search. And of course, it is early spring. So the weather is also a complicating factor here. So far, it hasn't been that cold, but it has been a little bit wet. Still, there is optimism that police say, if the children have sought shelter somewhere in the woods, that there is a possibility of an optimistic sort of outlook here. All right. Thanks so much for this, Linda. You're welcome.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
RCMP say there is still no sign of the two siblings who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Pictou County. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday in the community of Lansdowne Station. In an update Sunday, the RCMP say search efforts from multiple agencies were ongoing.
We don't want to exclude anything, so obviously anything that comes to our attention, we are going to continue to follow that. I have no information currently on any particular leads. Obviously, it's a huge wooded area with lots of potential, so we're just keeping all avenues open and ensuring we're covering off the entire area.
RCMP say there is no evidence the children were abducted. Lily Sullivan has shoulder-length light brown hair with bangs. She might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Jack Sullivan has short blonde hair and is wearing blue dinosaur boots. And in a social media post Saturday, Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston writes, people in Pictou County and across Nova Scotia are praying for a positive outcome for two missing children. He adds, during this time of worry, please know that our first responders and volunteers are working tirelessly during this 24/7 operation. And the warden for Pictou County says the search for the missing children has impacted the whole community.
I've never seen anything impact this county as much since the Westray disaster in 1992, to tell you the truth. This has a lot of people on edge, a lot of people concerned. There's high tension in the community. I've seen some of the most stoic people I know that are usually show no emotion, very upset about this issue, wish they could do something, wish they could do more, but we're all sitting and hoping and praying right now.
Robert Parker says the search area is sparsely populated and heavily wooded. The search has now entered a 4th day.
It's day 4 of the search for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, who parents say wandered off around 10 a.m. on Friday. Since then, around 160 people have joined the search, including teams using drones, helicopters, and around 120 people searching on foot through the forest. Now, parents say they're absolutely heartbroken and don't want to spend another night not tucking in their children. Now, RCMP says their focus for the search has been within the 3.5-kilometer 5-kilometer radius from where the children first went missing, but have had some challenges with the weather. We've had rain, sunny days, and cooler nights. Now the parents are hopeful that Lily and Jack do return home, but with each passing day, the search becomes more urgent. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, New Glasgow. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan loved playing on the slide in their backyard. Now their mother, Maleha Brooks Murray, can barely look at it.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
It's been 4 days since police believe Lily and Jack wandered away from their home. Today, more than 120 people are searching on foot, by drone, and from the air.
It has been a few days, but that has not dampened the hopes of the GSAR teams and the police who are here to try and get these kids home.
RCMP have been focusing on a 3.5-kilometer radius from where the children were last seen, but that search zone expanded today further into the thick woods.
There's teams and units from the RCMP who have a variety of different tasks to be completed. So there's work being done across all sorts of areas in order to collect the information needed to locate them.
RCMP says the weather has complicated the search, making visibility and terrain more difficult to navigate. They're tying ribbons like the ones you see behind me in the areas they've searched already, and they've added another helicopter to scan the area from above.
I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst.
All of it is a shock to the community.
It's not something that happens very often, and you're just hoping and praying they find them as soon as they can.
With each hour, concern grows, and the search to find Lily and Jack becomes more urgent.
I miss them.
For now, the family holds on to the hope the children will be found and they'll be back playing in their backyard once again. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Lansdowne Station.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
4 days into the search for his missing stepkids, Lily and Jack Sullivan, Daniel Martel is pleading with the public to keep their eyes peeled. But he has begun to lose hope they are anywhere in the vicinity.
I hate being wet and cold, so they immediately would have came right back into the house. The only 2 prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it.
Martel wants the search to be extended to include provincial borders in case the children were abducted, a reality he says is becoming more and more likely.
Post any officers they can get at the New Brunswick border, and PI border, and get them at every airport possible.
Martel confirmed that when the 2 children went missing from the home behind me, Lily was wearing a pink shirt and pink rain boots. She was also carrying a white backpack with strawberries on it. Martel says although he didn't see Jack that morning, he is believed to be wearing a brown shirt, brown pants with a pull-up diaper on underneath, and blue rain boots with dinosaurs on them. He also refuted the claim that the 2 children are nonverbal, saying while they are on the autism spectrum, they are quite trusting and say hi to everyone. According to Martel, his side of the family are currently the only ones at ground zero after Lily and Jack's mother left the county Saturday. But still, he remains, begging anyone with answers to come forward and bring his children home safe.
Anybody who has any information, or you think you've seen something or hear something, or any messages from friends about hearing something, just contact your local police services. Anything, guys, anything.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
140 searchers are combing the woods of Pictou County on the ground with drones and helicopters in the air. Still, after 5 days, there is no sign of Lily and Jack Sullivan. The search area for the siblings has been expanded. CTV's Hafsa Arif is there again tonight.
As RCMP combed through woods and fields searching for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather Daniel Martel spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Martel believes they were only gone for about 20 minutes before he and their mother noticed they were missing.
The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property. RCMP haven't shared any additional evidence.
The officers and searchers on site are following up on anything that comes up that provides direction, provides specifics, and provides something that can be used to narrow the search.
Martel and the children's mother have been in a relationship for 3 years now. Malaya Brooks Murray told CTV News she's still holding out hope Jack and Lily will be found. She is now staying with family outside the county, and Martel says she hasn't spoken to him since. Hundreds of people have been searching for 5 days now. Martel is worried the children have been abducted.
Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found.
The RCMP would not confirm if Major Crime is investigating.
There's a variety of teams who are applying their skills and expertise in order to assist in the search. I can't comment on what any of the specific teams are beyond what's involved in the search on the ground here.
Every day the children aren't found is taking a toll on Martel.
Just waiting and waiting for him to come home.
Todd, the media has been kept away from the command center today. RCMP and the search team had to move after being asked to leave a private property they were on. RCMP says this doesn't impact their operations.
The search for 2 missing children in Nova Scotia is expected to continue today.
Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack are believed to have wandered away from their home in rural Nova Scotia Friday morning. The Mounties say a multi-agency search has been going on since then. A helicopter from the Provincial Department of Natural Resources also helping out.
Don't want to exclude anything, so obviously anything that comes to our attention, we are going to continue to follow that. I have no information currently on any particular leads. Obviously, it's a huge wooded area with lots of potential. So we're just keeping all avenues open and ensuring we're covering off the entire area.
The RCMP says there's no evidence the children were abducted. Lily Sullivan has shoulder-length light brown hair with bangs. She might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Jack Sullivan has short blonde hair and is wearing blue dinosaur boots.
Children in Nova Scotia has entered a 5th day.
It has been a few days, but that has not dampened the hopes of the GSAR teams and the police who are here to try and get these kids home.
It's not something that happens very often. And you're just hoping and praying they find them as soon as they can.
Police believe 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station Friday morning. RCMP have been focusing on a 3.5-kilometer radius from where the children were last seen. The search zone is now being expanded. Up to 140 people at a time have been searching for the children with the help of police dogs and drones. CTV's Scott Hurst is joining us now with the latest on the search. What are you learning this morning, Scott?
Marcia, truly a heartbreaking situation in northern Nova Scotia as the search for these 2 young children continues. Now, the latest from RCMP in specific question to what is the exact latest on the ground we're hearing overnight. In addition to the continuous effort of ground teams, those 4 drones with infrared technology were deployed through the darkness. Now, right now, family members say they're doing everything they can to remain hopeful. The exhaustive search, as you mentioned, now in its 5th day, and it's believed they wandered away from their home in the rural area of Pictou County in Nova Scotia. That is northern Nova Scotia, northeast of Halifax. Now, 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing around 10 a.m. on Friday, last seen in Lansdowne Station. As you mentioned, crews initially focused on a 3.5-kilometer radius of a wooded area over the weekend, and they're using ribbons to track the ground that's already been covered to ensure that they don't go back over those tracks and that could continue to search areas that haven't been searched, but then they expanded their footprint yesterday. A lot of people have searched on the ground, as we mentioned, helicopters and drones from above as well, and there are many agencies now involved in the search. Here's more from the mother as she desperately waits for any word of her 2 children.
I miss them. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst.
In terms of the search, it has been challenging to cover the ground. It is rough terrain, thick bush, and there is fluctuating weather conditions. We're hearing lots of reports of rain and thick fog at times, so that is hampering some of the search effort, particularly from the air. We want to give you the description we have of these children. It isn't much, but maybe it could help. Lily is described as having shoulder-length light brown hair with bangs, and she might be wearing a pink sweater, pink boots, and pink pants. Jack has short blondish hair and is wearing blue dinosaur boots, but unfortunately no other clothing description is available. Now, police believe they likely wandered away from their home, which is why at this point there is no Amber Alert, because there's nothing to suggest that they have been abducted. So that is the latest from the search for these 2 missing children, 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. Marcia.
Okay, Scott, thank you for that update. Please keep us posted.
The search for 2 missing Pictou County children is still ongoing. Robert Parker is the warden of the municipality of Pictou County. Sir, this situation has gripped so many in the province. What can you tell us about how your community is doing?
Well, it's been a very stressful weekend for an awful lot of people in Pictou County, and I know beyond. Our little children mean so much to us, and myself and others can reflect back to any time in our families when little ones have strayed off somewhere and panic sets in a hurry. And when the time goes by and you're not able to find them and you have to call in some help, very, very stressful. And they often say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, all of Pictou County is a village right now, and everybody's hoping and praying that these little ones are going to be found.
Do you ever remember a time like this in Pictou County?
Well, I've never seen people as stressed out until I go back to West Ray in '92. It gripped the county, of course, in the terrible loss of 26 miners, but I'm not trying to draw a parallel to that here, but it's the same feeling. People are really stressed out, and they desperately want information. They desperately want to know what's going on, and there's only so much to tell them that these people keep looking. The searchers are out there, the RCMP are there, the ground search and rescue, or the firefighters. Tremendous amount of effort being put in this, and I must say that from across the province, there's all kinds of search and rescue units here from neighboring counties and farther away than neighboring. And just a lot of people, there's dogs here from various places, drones, they're putting a tremendous effort into it, but yet no results. We're in day 4, no results. So people are getting more anxious by the hour, and it's really hard to not let your mind stray somewhere else when you've been at it that long. I'm not talking about the searchers, but talking about general public. If people don't have information, they're surmising that other things and going with what they're surmising because there's no further information.
Yeah, you mentioned the search effort there. This is also the first chance we've seen the new Nova Scotia Guard involved in a search effort like this. How are they helping? Have you noticed their impact at all?
I'm not that close, to tell you the truth, to be able to say who's doing what, but everybody's appreciated right now. And I know the general feeling in Pictou County is great sense of appreciation for all those who are trying so hard to find these little ones. And so I don't know the particular role that each of them is playing. I will say, because people have asked me, that our role as council, my role as warden and our councillors, We depend on our specialists or our experts, being those firefighters, those ground search and rescues in the RCMP. We fund them to do the job when the time comes like this, and they're experts at doing their job. So they ask us and others to more or less stay out of the way so they can do their job. But it's not council's job or my job as a warden to be leading this search. Our job is to make sure we have these units, that we fund them through our budget, and they're there when we need them.
Yeah, and that's happening, I gather. But you have been to the search location, the headquarters for the search location, I gather, over the last few days. Have you spoken to the family at all?
No, I have not. Again, I believe in stepping back and allowing the people to do their job. And the family's under a great deal of stress, and they're, certainly being asked for a lot of interviews and a lot of questions. And, that's human nature to be questioning. And but I think it's a tremendous stress on the families, and I think it's important for all of us to not get carried away on social media or whatever, surmising that this or that or whatever's in somebody's head, but to leave the families be. And they're having a tough time, I'm sure. Just put yourself in the case of your children missing or your grandchildren missing, and the terrific amount of stress that's there. And so I think the family should be left alone with their people there to comfort them. And again, the best we can do is try and support the searchers.
Okay, and just quickly before I let you go, this all comes as a young kayaker's body found in the Pictou County Lake. I mean, what kind of help might there be for people struggling to cope with all of this in your community?
There is help, but it's hard at the first when it happens, just a terrible amount of stress on the families. But we do have a lot of, we've improved a lot with our mental health, but we've got a long ways to go. And it's not just when there's crises like this, we still have a long ways to go in mental health. But I think if those families, when they're ready, step forward to get the help that they need, I think the help will be there. But a lot of times, as you know, you have to be your own best advocate. But I know that neighbors and friends are certainly there to help the family of the young kayaker and the families now. We've got to do everything we can and to keep praying for these little ones.
Yeah, difficult times for sure. Robert Parker is the warden for the municipality of Pictou County. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
Volunteers combing the woods, hoping for any trace of two missing children, pushing through rough terrain and dense woods, looking for 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack.
Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, and anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister.
Police say they think the two children wandered off from their home in rural Nova Scotia on Friday. The family lives in Lansdowne Station, a wooded and sparsely populated area more than 100 kilometers from Halifax. The children's stepfather says he last heard and saw Lily and Jack that morning.
And as soon as I noticed they weren't there, I immediately jumped right in the vehicle and surveyed all the area, every dirt road, every culvert I could find.
Police say there's no evidence the children were abducted, which is why no Amber Alert has been issued. They're calling in reinforcements to keep searching the area overnight. Searchers are on foot and using dogs and drones. But for now, they're asking the public to stay away.
We've heard a lot about the impact that this is having on the community at large and the family, and it's really important that we locate these children.
Many also lending a hand outside the search perimeter, preparing 3 meals a day to fuel the searchers.
It's almost, you could say, a literal army of people from across this province who care, who are concerned, and who are doing their very best to try to reach and find these children in time.
A community holding its breath and hoping for good news. Nicola Sagan, CBC News, Pictou County, Nova Scotia.
6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her brother, 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, are still missing in this rural area of northeastern Nova Scotia. The RCMP is the lead agency here, along with EHS, hundreds of search and rescue crews from Halifax to Cape Breton. During the daytime, there are anywhere from 100 to 140 search and rescue crews in the woods, and the search continues all night. They deploy between 60 and 75 search and rescue crews in the woods all night long. So each searcher will work a 12-hour shift before they have to take a rest. There are 3 helicopters in the air, and there are dogs as well involved in this search, drones too. Search and rescue officials are keeping very close track of which sections of this area around Lansdowne have been searched, and once that area is covered, they move on, and they say it's important that no one wander in. Incidentally, this search has been the first assignment for the Nova Scotia Provincial Guard. They aren't directly involved in the search, but they're helping with traffic, protection of parked vehicles overnight, and just generally giving directions to people who are coming and going, those involved in the search and rescue effort. Earlier today, we spoke to the partner of the 2 children's mother. Here's some of what he had to say about Jack and Lily.
Lily and Jack are awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can. Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, and anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister.
He says he's also hoping police monitor the New Brunswick border and the airports for any sign of the 2 children. But RCMP tell us this afternoon they're not considering any possible abduction here. As far as they're concerned, they're looking for 2 young children who simply wandered away.
I know that there's a lot of people pulling for these kids to come home. We've heard a lot about the impact that this is having on the community at large and the family, and it's really important that we locate these children and get the information from the scene here and from anyone who might have information about the kids and their habits. So it's been really important to have engagement from anyone who knows these kids.
A spokesperson for the Chignecto Central Regional Center for Education tells us the 2 children were students at Salt Springs Elementary School. Their stepdad told us they'd both been out sick all week before disappearing on Friday. The school has additional support staff on site at Salt Springs if anyone needs that support. Meanwhile, the search will continue into the night here in the Lansdowne area of Pictou County for young Jack and Lily Sullivan. RCMP and search and rescue officials tell us they will have search and rescue crews on the ground, they'll have dogs with them, and they'll have drones in the sky all night long. Preston Mulligan, CBC News, Lansdowne, Pictou County.
The search for 2 missing children in rural Pictou County is now into its 5th day, and there's still no sign of 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. The siblings went missing last Friday morning when it's believed they strayed from their home in Lansdowne Station. CBC's Preston Mulligan joins us now live from the search area with the latest on the efforts. Preston.
Good evening, Tom. Well, as you said, yes, as we near the end of day 5 in the search for these 2 young children, sadly, there is still no good news report. The RCMP held a news conference a couple hours ago to give us an update. Basically, there's not much else to say other than the search for Lily and her brother Jack continues here and around these woods and these deep woods in the Lansdowne area, just about 20 kilometers south of New Glasgow. Now, during that news conference, they did talk a bit about the resources they have in the air that are looking for these children. They talked about how the drones work. They have drones in the sky at night and at daytime. They have infrared sensors that are able to detect heat on the ground. But regardless of the number of drones, the search and rescue officials and the dogs that are combing through the woods, not to mention the helicopters that we hear constantly flying overhead, still no sign of the children. Hundreds of search and rescue personnel from all over the province are still here. Many of them have been combing through the woods here for about 5 days, taking time off from their jobs, their personal lives, and RCMP say they're getting exhausted.
Exhaustion and optimism, right? We want to bring these 2 children home to their parents. We've got people who've been here since day 1, since the first time the call came in. So they're tired and they're optimistic. They have one job. This is all search and rescue does, is they try to bring people home safely. So they're trying to stay on focus. They're trying to stay on mission. They're sacrificing their personal lives. They're sacrificing a lot to be here to try to help this family out, to bring these 2 children home.
Now, RCMP Search and Rescue are still working under the assumption that the 4- and 6-year-old wandered away from the home in Lansdowne, just south of New Glasgow, on Friday morning. Today, some of the family members walked me through into that wooded area directly adjacent to where they live, maybe 20-second walk from the home into the woods. And as you walk into the woods, there's a little, kind of a tree fort, a little lean-to, and that's where the kids would play. And the family around there say they find it very hard to believe that, given how thick the brush is on some of the steep banks around that area, and just the difficulty moving around if you sort of leave that trail, how difficult they find it to believe that they could have gone anywhere deeper than that into the woods.
No idea. I had no idea. I'm still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out.
And so, Tom, we're just about a kilometer away from where the command site was, and where that command site is, RCMP are leading that investigation, but they're on the search and rescue operation. Running in tandem and kind of parallel is kind of a missing persons investigation that the RCMP is involved in as well. And so as those investigators glean new information based on interviews, maybe they'll find a piece of clothing from home and they'll bring it to the search and rescue site. Any new information, they'll bring it to the search and rescue site, and then they will modify their search and adapt their search and sort of fine-tune their search based on what the investigators might find out. But in spite of all of this, after 5 days, still no sign of the 2 children that we've been told of, and we're told that the search will continue into the night again as per usual, and again tomorrow morning if nothing's been found. Tom.
Yeah, difficult situation for sure. Thanks for that, Preston. The CBC's Preston Mulligan reporting live for us in Lansdowne Station.
It's difficult. You've got blowdown from the last storms, from Fiona. You've got bugs, you've got heat exhaustion, you get cold at night, you've got water pouring down on your head. This terrain is not flat. There's holes and crevices and bogs. It's a lot of work. It's physical exhaustion for these searchers when they're out there doing their thing.
5 days in and no sign of stopping anytime soon. Searchers in Pictou County are feeling discouraged as they continued their 24/7 efforts to locate Lily and Jack Sullivan. On Tuesday, the multiple agency effort received some extra boots on the ground as some of New Brunswick's search and rescue teams answered the call to alleviate pressure on their Nova Scotian neighbors, many of whom have been on the site since Friday. And according to the RCMP, the goal of the search remains the same.
Police are pursuing all investigative avenues, and there's a variety of teams involved who are applying the tools and the skills and the expertise needed to locate and bring Lily and Jack home. This does remain a missing person investigation.
She adds they have been using infrared detecting drones to search throughout the night, hoping the children are out there somewhere alive and they will be able to pick up on their body heat. Despite only qualified personnel clear to participate in the official search effort, the community of Pictou County is doing everything they can to help from afar, including donating sandwich meats and coffee to clearing their fields for helicopters to land in. Because when one family's children go missing in rural Nova Scotia, the concern is felt by all.
This isn't about speculation. This is not about what ifs. This is about the fact that this as a community is looking for Jack and Lily. We want to see them come home. This isn't just people you see or hear about on the media. These are our people.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
An exhaustive search has consumed more than 140 search and rescue workers scouring every inch of this thickly wooded area in rural Nova Scotia. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan have been missing since Friday morning when it's believed they wandered from home.
At this point, Lily and Jack are still considered missing children.
The children's mother and stepfather are holding out hope, waiting for any shred of good news.
Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that Nothing else was found.
Authorities are zeroing in on a radius of several kilometers from where the children were last seen playing on Friday.
We want to bring these two children home to their parents. We've got people who've been here since day one, since the first time the call came in. They have one job. This is all search and rescue does, is they try to bring people home safely.
The area being searched continues to change and expand on an hourly basis. 3 search helicopters continue to fly over the area. The RCMP has also deployed high-tech drones.
The goal of the drones with the FLIR technology is to locate differences in temperatures on the ground.
A steady wave of concerned community members have stepped forward, offering to volunteer and help in the search.
This is home. This is one of our own. And that sense of Pictou County is when something happens, the people here rise up.
The RCMP also has numerous investigative teams involved in the fight to find Lily and Jack Sullivan. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
Father of the 2 missing Sullivan siblings in Pictou County says the only concrete clue found so far is a boot print found on the edge of their property.
Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found.
Today marks day 6 in the search for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack. The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Daniel Martel believes they were only gone for about 20 minutes before he and their mother noticed they were missing. The RCMP say numerous investigative teams are involved and first responders widened their search on Tuesday.
Around both this investigation and this mystery around what happened to these 2 young children. Yesterday, the RCMP announcing they've scaled back their search. They said they're going to be circling back on areas that have been looked at before. So what does that tell you, this move signal, at this stage of the investigation?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me, Anne-Marie. There's a couple of things at play here. Either the police know more than we do, which is quite likely, particularly from an investigative perspective, things they're not saying. It was very, very clear yesterday in the press conference that the staff sergeant in charge of the investigative side of this said there's things he couldn't say. At the same time, it's very, very intense and very thick area that they're searching, very difficult to traverse, even for trained adults, let alone children. So they've obviously made the decision that they don't believe the kids have got further than their perimeter, the area they've already searched. So they want to go back and research it. And he also specifically said there's areas that they want to revisit. So why is that? It's disturbing to me that they think the children may not be alive, but the RCMP are really good at this, big searches and investigations, and so they know something we don't, and we have to trust them that hopefully these kids will be found alive, and they'll, if possible, they will do so.
Is it possible one of the areas they're going to go back and research is the children's home and the property surrounding?
It could well be. It could be specific areas in that turf that maybe there's water, culverts and things like that. I don't know. I'm only guessing here. But they're pretty careful to how they worded it all, and which makes me think, once again, from an investigative perspective, they know something we don't, which is almost always the case. But the investigation, the search, always happen in parallel. But in this case, it appears that it seems to be narrowing down to a point that we're going to know something soon, and fingers crossed it's good news, but they're not holding out a whole pile of hope at this point, unfortunately.
It's interesting that your experience and instinct tell you that they're narrowing in on something soon. One thing else that stood out was that major crimes is still part of this investigation. They were at that press conference on Wednesday. What does that say, that this is a search and rescue / search recovery, but also that major crimes is involved?
Well, major crimes would always be involved with missing children, because either they're lost, which is certainly what they've been hoping to be the case, and then find them alive, or they've met with foul play in some way. And there's a couple of different avenues that could go, either a stranger abduction or someone that is known to them. And so major crime would always be following that up until they really have proof one way or another as to what's happened to these kids. So that's not uncommon at all.
During that press conference yesterday, police said that the likelihood of the children being alive was very low. That stood out to me, and you mentioned it as well. When one officer was asked at how they arrived at that conclusion, he only offered scientific methods. What does that mean?
Well, You know, based on probabilities, previous searches, a lot of data that's been gathered over the years, and just experience of these searchers and the search masters, they made a determination that they don't think these kids could have got out of where they are. So that being the case, and have the fact they've been all through there, and some weather issues, although the weather's not all that bad, they've determined there's no way that they could be alive in their view, which is very sad. But at the same time, I've seen searches where adults have been missing for weeks in similar weather and found alive. So you can never say never, and the fact that they're leaning that way causes me even more concern.
One last question for you. The parents say they believe the children were abducted. Police say they don't have any evidence to suggest that. So then what options are left?
Well, why are the parents saying that? It would be the first question from the investigators. What makes you believe that? Because if they are, then the police want to know that. The stepfather said very clearly he's been offered he offered to have polygraphs, and he's given them everything. So there's quite an investigation going on around the family. I'm not suggesting there's anything untoward there, but police are obviously following that part of it very closely, and hopefully they'll come up with something soon. This is just a tragedy extraordinaire.
Heartbreak for the family and the community and everyone involved. Chris Lewis, CTV's public safety analyst and former OPP commissioner. Thank you for your time and your expertise this morning.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.
Standing where the RCMP Search and Rescue Command Center was set up just yesterday, the heart of the effort to find 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. For 6 days, this area was busy with police, search crews, and volunteers. Now it's quiet, and the search teams are gone. It's believed the children wandered off early Friday morning. That kicked off a major search effort with more than 160 people involved. But today, there's no sign of Jack and Lily. RCMP were at the home of their stepfather, Daniel Martel, today. Officers spoke with the family, and it appeared they were searching around the property and nearby woods. They also had a helicopter searching the Lansdowne Station area from above. At a news conference yesterday, police said they'd be rechecking areas that had already been searched to see if they missed any clues.
I've done everything. I've given them all my information. I'm here to find the kids.
People who live here say it's heartbreaking. 2 young children missing for close to a week. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Lansdowne Station.
More now on the search for the missing Sullivan children, and we're joined by CTV public safety analyst Chris Lewis. Chris, during your tenure as commissioner of the Ontario Provincial Police, of course, you would have seen similar cases to this. What struck you about that RCMP update yesterday and what they had to say? Was there anything?
Yeah, absolutely there was, Todd, and I saw many searches throughout my career through all ranks across the broad expanse of Ontario, and many of them ended well and many of them didn't. This is a heartbreaker, absolutely. But what struck me the most, I think, is that I left it with a feeling that the RCMP know more than they're telling us, and I get that. You can't tell the public everything, and the detective staff sergeant, I believe, major crime fellow, said it very well. I just can't tell you certain things right now. Well, if there's certain things you can't tell, then ultimately there's leads they're following up, in my view.
Okay.
Who, when, where, and why is another issue, but they're on to something.
We heard they don't think the siblings could be alive. Was that something of a surprising admission?
It was an absolute shock to me, to be honest, because I'm thinking after 5-6 days, there's a good chance they're still alive. The weather hasn't been that bad. I've seen searches where people have been 2 weeks in the bush under horrendous conditions. One man was legally blind and still alive. So you just never give up. So to make that statement also makes me think that they're suspecting something more than a couple of children lost in the bush.
Okay. The RCMP said there are spots they want to revisit. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me there, obviously, as they said, there's places they want to research. So, but where are those places? Are they within the area they searched? So are they going back to some specific dense areas to have an even closer look? Because, quite frankly, in dense bush, you could walk by a child and not see them. And that's a sad reality of it all. So is that the plan, or are there other locations that they want to search within some other area, but not kind of an expanded search through that dense bush?
We heard that major crimes is involved. Should that tell us anything, or is that sort of de rigueur?
I think it's standard that investigators be involved in parallel with any search, particularly of children, not a lost hunter, but two children that shouldn't be in the bush. There'd be a search or investigation to say, was there some neglectful thing? I'm not suggesting there was. How did two little children get into the bush? Or was it something else? Was there a crime involved? Were they taken by somebody known or unknown? etc. And there's all kinds of terrible possibilities that come to mind here. But obviously, major crime is there. They've had the big gun there, not a constable, detective, and a detachment. And so they're onto something here.
On that point, the stepfather has told us he suspects they might have been abducted. Does that trigger anything at the police level? How do they react to a statement like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, they'd be on it like, absolutely, because why do you think that? Who do you think did it? Who had a reason to do it? What makes you say that? Because at that point, as a father or stepfather or mother, you'd be thinking, oh my God, we have to find them. Where are they? Not suddenly out of the blue, well, I think somebody abducted them. I mean, that's kind of a bizarre statement. But people are people, and they do and say different things when they're under stress. So, it's certainly a red flag, but ultimately, what does that mean in the big scheme of things? Who knows at this point?
Yeah. We heard police say they don't think the children could have gone too far, certainly not beyond that search area.
And my thoughts there, Todd, are that these are trained searchers in physical shape and proper equipment and clothing on, and they struggled to get to a certain point over a number of days. So in their minds, at the very least, they're thinking those kids could not have got further than point X. So we're going to go back and research. But then again, of course, there's the investigative piece, and we don't know where all that's going. But there's more to come in the next few days, I believe.
Public safety analyst for CTV, Chris Lewis, always good to have your insight on these kind of things. We appreciate it.
You too, Todd. Always my pleasure.
I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything?
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. Two little kids are still out there. I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out.
When someone goes missing, search and rescue teams kick into high gear, and new technology is starting to be used across the country to help in these searches. The RCMP have what's called forward-looking infrared, or FLIR technology. It's a kind of thermal imaging that detects heat signatures. In cases of missing persons, it can be used to find body heat in a forest.
It's been an incredible tool for us. We've had at least 2 finds with thermal imaging of subjects. And it just gives us the ability to operate in the dark.
The technology is often attached to a remotely piloted aircraft or drone, so it can scan specific areas and feed that information back to the operator on the ground. The operator will then analyze the footage and identify certain colors that may or may not be the missing person. Baldwin says it works really well in the winter because a person's body heat stands out. But he says it's more challenging during the summer months.
As we move into spring, summer here, we will be relying more on our visual camera for searching because the treetops, rocks, things like that retain heat, and they are very close in temperature to a person, and it makes it very hard to distinguish what you're looking at in the image.
Baldwin says the technology isn't capable of seeing heat underground or in the water, and tree cover can also hinder search efforts.
Drones are excellent for searching regions where it's hard to access on foot, cliffy areas, steep drainages, but where their obstacles come in is actually the canopy of the trees, so how dense the forest is. As we move into the spring here, everything's greening up. That makes it harder to penetrate to the forest floor. So that's where it is possible to fly over someone and not see them.
So while the technology is a helpful tool, he says nothing will replace on-the-ground searchers.
The most success you have is people on the ground calling out and getting a response. That by far has been the most successful way we've found people. But why not have drones in the air? Why not have helicopters? Why not use every tool available? Because it just does increase your range and the number of eyes on the scene.
Cassidy Chisholm, CBC News, Halifax.
After 6 days of bushwhacking, scouring culverts and ravines, climbing over downed trees and wading through waist-deep water, the RCMP announced Wednesday that they are scaling back the search for Lily and Jack Sullivan.
As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lily and Jack will be scaled back. We're transitioning from a full-scale search to searches of more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We want to circle back to increase the probability that all clues have been found. And when transitioning from an active search to a scaled-back search, the probability of survival is taken into consideration. I want to assure you that our missing persons investigation continues. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up.
An announcement the children's stepfather could see coming.
I mean, they can only do so much. They're running on as much sleep as I am. They've been over so many times with helicopters, drones, dogs. I mean, they're doing everything they can, just like me and my family are doing everything we can.
Martel adds him and his family have been working closely with the RCMP to assist in their investigation outside of the search effort.
They've gone through the house, they've gone around the property with dogs. I've given them everything they wanted. I gave them my phone. I asked for polygraph exams.
RCMP says this remains a missing persons investigation, but conceded the likelihood of survival after several days exposed to the elements is slim.
Based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
But that doesn't mean officers are done searching the woods. A scaled-back search means volunteers will be leaving the site by end of day, handing all further search responsibilities over the RCMP, who will continue to monitor the situation and are considering cadaver dogs but haven't called them in at this point. Meanwhile, Major Crimes is pursuing all other leads as they continue to come up.
When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider are there people that have different charter implications and things like that, so we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature.
Despite the discouraging news, the community in Pictou County remains hopeful.
I was told by a firefighter after day 2 that we've covered every square inch of that place. Well, the 4 more days, they've crisscrossed that area so much. And to my understanding, nothing has been found. You know, people in Pictou County very much want to know if they're not in that woods, then they want to know what happened.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
Disheartening and potentially tragic development in the search for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. The children were last seen at this rural Nova Scotia property on Friday morning.
Based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
The 6-day search has been massive and high-tech. The RCMP, more than 140 ground search and rescue workers, 3 helicopters, and multiple drones scoured 4 kilometers of dense wooded rural terrain. 2 vulnerable missing persons alerts have also been issued. It appears the children have vanished without a trace, leading to today's announcement by the RCMP.
As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lily and Jack will be scaled back.
A scaled-back search means ground search and rescue crews will cease operations as of today. Investigators will circle back and resume their search if new evidence is uncovered in the future.
At this point in time, after today, we just won't see all these searchers here.
It's devastating news for family members hoping and praying Jack and Lily would be found.
I know that they can't go forever. It's just, they can't go forever. Everyone's exhausted.
The RCMP considers all missing persons files to be suspicious. The Major Crime Unit will continue its investigation.
We are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets of available information.
The RCMP has promised the family they will pursue every lead and continue their efforts to track down Lily and Jack Sullivan. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
After nearly a week of searching through dense woods in Pictou County for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, crews are stepping back.
When transitioning from an active search to a scaled-back search, the probability of survival is taken into consideration. We are scaling back because it's time to move to a different part of the search.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Search teams found a single boot print they believe could have belonged to one of them, but no other evidence has turned up since.
There could be different types of things that we may want to try and get back in if we are able to locate anything that may come up that the searchers didn't go catch the first time.
The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, is devastated, but not giving up hope.
They can't go forever. Everyone's exhausted. 100 days isn't enough. A whole lifetime isn't enough for them. I just want to find them.
RCMP confirms its major crimes unit has been involved from the beginning.
Can't really speculate on the investigation, obviously. That wouldn't be fair to the process. But we are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets.
The children's stepfather says he was interviewed by investigators this week.
They asked me everything. I gave them all of the information. I gave them my phone. I asked for lie detector tests. I've done everything. I asked for drug tests. I've done everything.
After thousands of hours looking for Jack and Lily, everyone involved is exhausted, but still intent on finding them. Todd, since day one, 160 people have joined the search. I'm told by people who live in the area that homes and barns have been searched. While RCMP is scaling back, they are saying that the search for Lily and Jack will continue. Todd?
So we understand it's tough terrain. You've been there a few days now. What have you heard from searchers?
The weather has been quite challenging. You know, just moments ago it was raining, and that's kind of what we've seen throughout these last 6 days. There's been rain, sun, and fog, and that's made it quite difficult. Searchers are exhausted. A lot of them who were here today have been here since Friday morning. And I'm told, I saw just yesterday a search member who was injured and needed medical assistance. So the area is also just impacted by Fiona. There's just a lot of things going on that have impacted the search that have made it challenging. Todd?
All right, Hafsa Arif continuing our coverage tonight from Westville, Nova Scotia.
This teddy bear behind me was placed outside the RCMP headquarters in Stellarton on Thursday. An anonymous user on Facebook said they're starting a vigil for Lily and Jack Sullivan, who were first reported missing nearly 1 week ago. The siblings, aged 4 and 6, were reported missing from their home at 10 a.m. last Friday. Police say it's believed they wandered away from their home on Gairloch Road in the Pictou County community of Lansdowne Station. Global News spoke with some people in the community of Stellarton on Thursday who declined to go on camera due to the sensitivity of the subject, but said they are praying for the children's safe return. We reached out to the RCMP for an update on Thursday, but they also declined to comment. This comes on the heels of police announcing Wednesday that they were scaling back the multi-agency search for the two children. The operation included more than 150 grounded search rescue volunteers who were actively searching through a 4-kilometer area since the children were first reported missing. The search also involved DNR and RCMP helicopters, drones, and police dog services. Police say they're now retracing steps and searching in smaller, more specific areas as the investigation continues. RCMP said on Wednesday that cadaver dogs could be brought in as a next step in the operation, along with saying detectives have been involved in the case since last Saturday. The children's stepfather told Global News he believes the children left through a sliding back door, which he describes as virtually silent. He said he then began looking for Lily and Jack outside, but couldn't find them. As the investigation persists, rumors continue circulating online about what happened to them. Major Daniel Rood with the Salvation Army says the speculation is creating added stress for the surrounding communities as people grow more desperate for answers. Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Stellarton, Nova Scotia.
6 days after 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan disappeared from their home in rural northeastern Nova Scotia, the RCMP announced today their search for the two siblings is being scaled back, saying there's little chance they are alive. The CBC's Blair Rhodes joins us now live from the search area in Pictou County with the latest. Blair.
Tom, the mood here was solemn as the searchers were told that despite their best efforts, they were scaling back the search. Before the news conference, RCMP told Jack and Lily's family, their stepfather, Daniel Martel, said he's not giving up.
I'm still holding out hope. I don't know why they didn't find anything from Jack's pull-up to her backpack or any of her belongings at all. They just haven't found anything.
Now, while the family may have some hope, the police say that after 6 days of often extreme conditions, the children were still in the woods, they wouldn't be alive. So now they said it came down to a question of survivability.
And a number of factors would have to take consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when that time has to come, and that is now. And a lot of those factors come into play would be the age of the missing persons, the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered. So at that point, they have to make a decision on that.
Now, from the very beginning, they described this disappearance as suspicious. That's standard in missing persons cases like this. Today, we were asking the police, because the major crime unit has been part of this investigation since the weekend, as to whether they could elaborate on that. But they didn't want to answer questions about whether they had detected any criminal activity in connection with this.
When somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider are there people that have different charter implications and things like that? So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person case, we would approach it from the same process. A methodical collection and review of information with decisions based on that.
Now, when police say they're scaling back, what they mean by that is they will be going back over some of the areas they've already searched, taking another look to see if there's anything they missed. Tom?
All right, Blair, thanks for that. That is CBC's Blair Rose reporting live for us from Pictou County this evening.
Todd, I'm standing where the RCMP Search and Rescue Command Center was set up just yesterday, the heart of the effort to find 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. For 6 days, this area was busy with police, search crews, and volunteers. Now it's quiet, and the search teams are gone. It's believed the children wandered off early Friday morning. That kicked off a major search effort with more than 160 people involved. But today, there's no sign of Jack and Lily. RCMP were at the home of their stepfather, Daniel Martel, today. Officers spoke with the family, and it appeared they were searching around the property and nearby woods. They also had a helicopter searching the Lansdowne Station area from above. At a news conference yesterday, police said they'd be rechecking areas that had already been searched to see if they missed any clues.
I've done everything. I've given them all my information. I'm here to find the kids.
People who live here say it's heartbreaking. 2 young children missing for close to a week. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Lansdowne Station.
You said they're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
Members of Cape Breton Search and Rescue are back home after days of searching for 2 children missing on the mainland. The search for 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack was unsuccessful.
I think a lot of people went home last night with really heavy heart and maybe a feeling of defeat because that's all we want is successful search one way or the other.
22 volunteers from Cape Breton joined many others on the ground and in the air. Many have been involved in searches before, but when it involves children, Amanda Donovan says it hits different.
Oh, there's no worse situation. A lot of us are parents. A lot of us, just as humans, can't fathom that situation, and it really, the urgency and the response, I think, speaks to how affected everybody was by that.
Nova Scotia RCMP announced Wednesday it was scaling back the search for the 2 missing children after 6 days of scouring the heavily wooded areas surrounding their home in Lansdowne Station.
They are very thick. There's a lot of the hurricane damage from Fiona a couple years ago.
and we've had teams struggling to get through areas.
Amy Hansen is with Colchester Ground Search and Rescue. She says searchers have covered a lot of ground the last few days and feels the area has been thoroughly searched.
We are exhausting people, and we're starting to see more injuries coming back the last couple of days, and it's hard terrain.
Back in Sydney, Amanda Donovan can't help but think about the many volunteers that came together from many areas of the province with the same goal in mind.
I think that having such a big operation and seeing everybody work so cohesively together really speaks to the professional nature. Even though majority of us are volunteers, we are trained volunteers, and that's what we do best. So it was really nice to see all of that come together.
Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.